Today we've made the short 3-kilometre ferry crossing between St Kitts and the neighbouring island of Nevis. This is the base for the Foreign Minister of St Kitts and Nevis, Mr Mark Brantley, a lawyer who also doubles up as the Premier for the smaller island. We'll be discussing with Mr Brantley the role which this dual island nation plays in a fast-changing world. Mr Mark Brantley, how important are foreign direct investment and diversification to your economy?
We have tried here to diversify in different ways through our Citizenship by Investment program, through our financial services offerings that we have on both islands, predominantly on Nevis, and light manufacturing, agriculture, and other areas that we are now trying to get into, such as renewable energy. So I think that both are very important to us and to our future. Beyond that, we have, of course, a fund. It was a hurricane relief fund, now called a Sustainable Growth Fund. And that fund provides direct income to the government through the Citizenship by Investment program. And when that happens, of course, the government then has resources to do a host of social projects and a host of development and infrastructural projects for the country. And we look around St Kitts and Nevis and you see the DNA of that all over. We've just launched, for example, a poverty alleviation program where poor households are given a supplemental check each month. So it really has real legitimate impact on the ordinary lives of our citizens, and I think that that is what makes it so important to us.
We noticed there's a significant amount of Taiwanese investment in St Kitts. Does that preclude then a closer relationship with mainland China?
I've said on record more than once that Taiwan has not only been a friend, Taiwan has been our best friend, because Taiwan has invested and continues to invest here in building our human capacity in terms of our infrastructure. They have really been part and parcel of our developmental process as a young nation and as a small country. Taiwan is a significant country, a country of 23 million people, an economy which is among the top 20, 25 or so in the world. And so, you know, it is not, I think, a country that one ought to simply put on a back burner or simply exclude from global affairs. We do have a considerable amount of Chinese investment. We simply do not have a formal relationship with the Chinese government.
Every time there's an election, campaigners talk about building a bridge between the two islands. Do you think that will happen in the future?
I think it's inevitable because we're so close. Technology now being what it is makes it a lot easier. And I think that it's a natural next step for St Kitts and Nevis would be to see how we could unleash more fully the developmental potential by having that. Currently, there's a tremendous amount of duplication because we're separated by ocean. And so you have an airport in St Kitts and an airport in Nevis. You have a seaport in St Kitts, a seaport in Nevis. With a bridge, we could probably decide which island is better suited for what, and then develop that there. So I think that it's inevitable that it will happen. Whether it happens in my lifetime or not, I'm not sure, but I think it will happen.
You're an integral part of CARICOM. We've had the Joint Review Committee looking at citizenship by investment programs. What have you learnt from the results of that committee in terms of the due diligence processes?
Well, I think the due diligence processes now are very similar in terms of what we want to get. St Kitts and Nevis has clearly distinguished itself in the last few years by really enhancing its due diligence. The focus tends to be on the Caribbean. They say, oh, there's these little islands in the Caribbean offering citizenship by investment. The truth is that that program started here in St Kitts and Nevis way back in 1984. At that point, nobody else in the world had thought of it, thought of leveraging their citizenship for development. We started it here, but it hasn't stayed here. In Europe, for example, you have places like Malta and Cyprus and Portugal. They're all offering some variant. The Great Canada offered some variant, which attracted, of course, a lot of Hong Kong Chinese to places like Vancouver. In the United States, you have the EB-5 visa program that was put in place. All of these are variants of the same theme, but that theme started right here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so we are looking at, of course, the possibility of doing things better, doing them together, having some established standards, minimum requirements that would apply throughout all of us in the Eastern Caribbean who are offering citizenship by investment. But I always encourage people to understand that it's now a global phenomenon. It's a global business. It's not just something that is happening in some little islands, little countries in the Caribbean, and that there are major countries, even within the European Union and elsewhere, that are offering something similar.